we discussed the importance of discussing the hurt of the other. One was, whether one likes it or not, the large number of Hindus, maybe they're upper caste, who feel a sense of historical humiliation. And should this be brushed aside, or should this sense of victimhood be addressed and looked at? Because you have forces in the country which are exploiting this sense of victimhood, or accentuating this sense of victimhood. Maybe 10 years ago this was mainly an upper caste phenomenon. Now it is filtered down to other social classes as well, as a result of the propaganda, etc. So generally in our circles we kind of avoid looking at this. Is it not important to look at it, to talk about it, to say that the response to victimhood is not the Hindu right, that there are other ways of responding to it. And anyway, that situation doesn't exist now. In fact, it was important to look at it. Being more inclusive, bringing faith leaders into the fold, being more inclusive, we already said that we should have more Muslims in these discussions. And we are also aware that it's not always easy to find the kind of Muslim friends to take part in these discussions. We always have to. I remember for 20 years, whenever we wanted to call a Muslim speaker, it was always Asghar Ali Engineer. He has been here 20 times. And so there's a need to, in the Muslim context, those of us who are non-Muslims, obviously we are a little inhibited or even embarrassed to raise questions with Muslim friends. Bringing faith leaders, I think she was very insistent on that we have to identify faith leaders. And there are many of them who may not publicly make statements, but who are concerned about what's happening in the country. And it's important to interact with them. Yeah.
When you're writing there, identify, engage with faith leaders at one point, and identify, engage with liberal practicing Muslims. Okay. What about the non-practicing Muslims? Is that voice also enough or not enough? Is also a question, and that also applies for other religions.
What's your point of view?
I think that non-practicing Muslims, not in the point of that non-practicing. I'm also a practicing Muslim, yes, but from my lived experience of being a Muslim, but also I also identify not only as a practicing Muslim, but also a practicing interfaith. So what about those practicing interfaith people? What about the interfaith leaders then? Are we also talking about that? Because as you said, that is mostly in India that this is possible. To be at some stage of your life being a Buddhist, at some stage of life being more towards Islam, or then going towards other, even for example, my following of animist religion in Northeast India also, in a sense, makes me interfaith also, in a sense. So I go to every and practice almost parts of everything, I come from Islamic school, where I went to church every Sunday, So in that sense, what about the interfaith leaders? Interfaith as a culture, and if we talk about the interfaith, and what about the liminal practicing, in each religion? To do that, I remember someone telling me that you don't have a right to speak on behalf of Muslims because you're not a practicing Muslim. It's very easy to say that. So how do we deal with that again?
The importance of inner work, which is the whole point of this thing, which is an important practice, since we are speaking of integrating spirituality. All of us as practitioners, and so inner work is something that we must not miss out on. and perhaps need for more interfaith events. Like she said, we don't really interface, so create more events and opportunities, even if it's just for the optics. It may not be deep engagement and dialogue right at the beginning, but it matters just to create space and opportunity. So those are the couple of other initiatives in terms of integrating